Hi, this is Saif bringing you a replay with my Furutaka in open beta of World of Warships with my friends Spike and BR Link. Today I'm going to show you a match I call Dancing with Destroyers because I have a pretty intense match between myself and a couple destroyers that just by sheer luck I end up surviving, but you'll see when we get there. Now I start off on the opposite side of the map for my friends, and I'm going to go down towards Charlie while my friends head towards Alpha, which is fine. I'm really just coming down here to Charlie right now because I just got the sonar ability, the acoustics pinging or whatever. What are they calling this? Hydroacoustic search. And I'm really not sure how this works. In fact, even to this day, I'm not sure exactly how it's working. It's helping me see torpedoes better, but not really helping me with the destroyers as far as I can tell. But I'm hoping to test that out down here in Charlie where the destroyers tend to run at the beginning of the match anyway. And I've got two cruisers with me, so I'm relatively confident we can deal with most of the early stuff down here at Charlie. If not, I'm always ready to turn and run from Charlie. Usually, when things go bad at Charlie, things go really bad. So usually I nose in, maybe capture Charlie, and if I need to, I'm ready to turn and run. So that's why my guns are swiveled off to the left here, because I'm ready to turn broadside and leave if I need to. Also, I'm expecting destroyers down here, which they're going to be on the left side of this major strait to start with. The Furutaka is a pretty good ship. It has got at least one blaring bad point. It's got good armor, and it's got good armor all around, especially with bouncing shots from other cruisers. It's got pretty good speed too. You'll see me hitting 34, 35 knots. But it's a little sluggish in the controls. I've slowed down time here to talk a little bit. And the guns have good punch to them too. They're 203s with an okay reload, but they take 45 seconds to go from one side to the other, which really makes this feel like a really small battleship rather than a cruiser. Now somebody's capping Charlie. I think it's a destroyer, so I'm going to go ahead and launch everything to try to help spot that destroyer, and sure enough, there he is. So putting some guns off in front of him, hopefully, yep, those are some good hits for our first volley. I was really kind of lucky there, just kind of guessing where he was going to be. But he's a destroyer, and I follow my #1 rule with destroyers, which is try not to sail in straight lines. And so I turn away, expecting to see torpedoes on top of me, and our friend here in the Kuma is about to show you why you don't sail in straight lines or play peekaboo with destroyers. And he's about to learn it right now. So now he's done. It doesn't matter what what he does, those torpedoes are going to take him off the match. Yep. My friend here in the Phoenix is still continuing on, so I'm going to circle back around and hopefully help the Phoenix. This will also allow me to keep my guns on the left side of my ship, so I don't have to wait for him to swivel all the way around again. He launches torpedoes at, who knows, maybe he's anticipating somebody coming down the small strait between the islands like the Grammy did going the other way. Either way, I think it was a little bit of a bad play on his part. More torpedoes are coming in from across Charlie, so I know there's another destroyer down at the other end of Charlie, and judging by the fact that the Phoenix doesn't see him, I'm going to go ahead and guess he's the Minakaze. Grammy, though, is coming right back down the mouth of that strait, and there's the Minakaze off in front, more torpedoes way off to the right here, and there's the Grammy. Phoenix puts torpedoes off at the Minakaze. I get guns on the Grammy trying to help out here, but I do not lead them very well. That was a bad misplay on my part. They sail behind and above, and I turn away from the Grammy anticipating torpedoes, which the Phoenix takes at point blank range. Now I also make another misplay in that I assume the Grammy is set up like the Americans, having torpedoes on both the left and right sides. But I was wrong. They are center-mounted torpedoes, so instead of coming after me and finishing me off like I'm anticipating, he's actually going to turn and run, which is good because I'm about to run aground here trying to dodge the imaginary torpedoes. I run aground, but luckily, my secondaries finish him off. because my guns were not able to keep up with the maneuvers. My secondaries did a pretty good job there at getting close quarters expert for me with that Gremmy. It was really nice of that. I still have the Minikaze somewhere behind me, so I gotta get moving here. Oh, and there's a Tenryu out in front of me. Well, Minikaze in front of me, cruiser in front of me, Minikaze behind me. I'll take the battle with the cruiser first. I can outgun him, I know that, at least. So I'm going to turn into him, and he's still saying sidelong onto me, so which tells me he's not going to run from me like I was expecting, but he's going to launch torpedoes at me. And if I keep my nose at the person shooting torpedoes at me, it makes it a lot easier for me to dodge them when they're spotted. Got a little bit of time before my acoustic is up and running again, but I'm just looking for those torpedoes. Where are they at? I'm not sure, but he had to have gotten them off. He's maneuvering now. And sure enough, there they are off to my right. I'm taking a gamble they're off target because I have all my guns to fire at this guy, and I want to get some damage on him soon. So, guns off, torpedoes missed. They're capping the circle behind me, which has got to be the Minikaze. Got to keep coming forward and dealing with this Tenryu. He's coming around to the other side of me, so I'm going to give him a little bit of torpedoes. Now, I'm not really anticipating him running into them, but I'm trying to force him to either to make a choice. Go straight and dodge the torpedoes, or turn and dodge the torpedoes. If he goes straight, I have a good chance of hitting him. But he's smart and he turns. So he comes back around to the other side, and I think he's going to keep going, so I launch more torpedoes out here. Once again, forcing him to make a maneuver and not be engaging me. I'm going to get some guns off on him, but I'm really interested in staying behind him where his torpedoes can't hurt me. My friend the Bogue is going to launch some bombs at him. I'm going to get some torpedoes off him. Hopefully he'll help me finish this guy off quickly so I can turn around and deal with the Minikaze. Got some okay guns, but you can see how the maneuvers I'm pulling are just too hard for the guns to keep up with, and he clearly is getting torpedoes off on me again. Sure enough, there they are, so I keep coming this way. I got lucky there, having anticipated his torpedo attack, and I got more guns to put into this side here. Started a fire on him. He's going to be a while before he gets torpedoes off, and mine are almost reloaded. So right now, I'm just hoping to get some guns while my torpedoes reload. Torps, though, reload pretty quick. I give him a little bit more lead than I did last time. And he keeps coming around, so now he's made a decision to keep going straight. He's going to hit the brakes, but it's not hard enough. And I'm going to get my guns around on him just as he's turning away. Hopefully, I think he's trying to get more torps off on me, but no such luck. I've got guns. Minikaze has caught up. He's 6.5 away from me, so I've got to turn away from him, make sure his torps don't get anywhere near me. And I've got a new threat on the board. We've got a Wyoming coming after us. Lovely. So, Bogue sending aircraft out. I think he makes a misplay here. He sends all 3 of them against the Wyoming and sails in a nice straight line in front of the Minikaze. I would have sent my dive bombers after the Minikaze, at least rattle them up or give myself time to deal with any torpedoes that are launched. But that's just the way he chose to play, and who knows which is the right decision. I make a decision to pull a maneuver that works rather well with me against battleships, which is close as possible and get torpedoes off at nearly point-blank range. Works rather well, especially against American battleships, because their guns are fairly inaccurate. And there's our Bogue friend. That's why you don't sail in straight lines in front of enemy destroyers, especially Minikazes. So I'm trying to get some damage in on the Wyoming here. I'm anticipating another set of shells coming in from him, so I'm going to turn right on. He's got a good chance of either missing me or doing minor damage, or even maybe ricocheting if I get an AP shell landing at the right angle. You can see my armor actually mitigates a lot of that damage for me, thankfully. The front armor on this Furutaka is actually not bad. So right now I'm just trying to close with him, get some damage, get some little bits of damage in, really just trying to get that range down as far as possible. So he is not going to have a lot of time to maneuver when I get right in there with torpedoes. Once again, I'm going to use my torpedoes at more of a strategic way. I'm hoping he hits them, but if he doesn't, he's forced to turn. And that turning would bring his guns off target, giving me time to deal with the situation. And this is where the dance of the destroyers begins, because here's the Minakaze's torpedoes right off my nose. I've got a battleship in front of me, Minakaze off my right. He's going to turn just enough to get past my torpedoes here. My engine's out, I'm on fire, and I'm missing a turret. So I hit the repair. Now he's got a choice. He can keep coming around to his right, the Wyoming, or he can come back around to the left, or he can try to ram me. If he's going to ram me, I'm going to kill him. If he comes back around to the left, I'm going to kill him. If he comes to his right, he might have a chance. But if he comes back around to the left, I'm going to get torps on him. That's going to finish him off. Enemy torpedoes off my aft. They run out of steam, and they weren't very well aimed, so they probably weren't going to hit me anyway. But I got a Minakaze off my nose, and he's going to be reloading his torpedoes any minute now. So keeping my nose at the enemy. Yep, there's his torpedoes. 1, 2, 3 sets of torpedoes. I just got to weave between them, and I'll be nice and safe. There we go. Now I got to get my guns around onto target. I got a couple more seconds. I got torpedoes loaded, but he's not quite in the right position for torpedoes yet. One set of guns, but my guns just can't get around on him. I'm maneuvering too much. Look at my torpedoes, but he comes back around the other way, and now I've got the Isokaze launching torpedoes at me from behind. So I launched torpedoes at him to once again just give him something to think about. I've got bigger things to deal with. I got to deal with this Minakaze. Don't want to deal with the Isokaze yet. So the torpedoes are more of a distraction. I swing them by butt end around a little bit to get some shots off on target. Minakaze comes around, clearly setting up a torpedo barrage. Isokaze already having launched torpedoes at me. So I come back. I continue my turnaround to slide in between both barrages with Isokaze on my left and Minakaze torpedoes on my right. I'm going to continue the turnaround, which is going to put me a little disadvantage because my guns are not going to be on targets. But I just can't come back the other way with those torpedoes right there. So I launch torpedoes out, trying to once again get some control of the engagement off again. I've got 2 very fast firing destroyers off my left here. I'm going to bring my nose around because that's where my guns are, and that's where it's going to make it easier for me to dodge torpedoes. Isokaze is going to be able to launch torpedoes first, so he's my first target. Maybe I can damage him. Maybe I can knock out a torpedo tube and help save my life. He's going to get a beautiful set of torpedoes off. Ed Wood, that is just a beautiful set. I don't know how I made it through that. I just kind of turned and guessed. Sorry, bro. That was a good shot, but not quite enough. So he's launched his torpedoes. He's not in immediate danger. The Minakaze who's setting up on me is the next immediate danger. I start turning in towards him because either you're going to... yep, there's his torpedoes. So, trying to get my guns on target, get a nice set of shots off here on the Minakaze, do some nice damage on him. Hopefully my secondaries will finish him off. I'm on fire, and I've got an Isokaze to deal with, so he's going to be launching next. I've got to get my nose pointed towards him. Start turning around to my left. Isokaze is going to be launching torpedoes any minute now, trying to get guns on target. Holy cow, here's some more torpedoes to deal with, but they're poorly aimed, so I have plenty of wiggle room to deal with him here. Going to launch some torps out in front of him and force him to once again make a choice. Go straight, dodge, or take a torpedo, or turn away from them. And he turns away from them, which means he's not going to be shooting guns at me anytime soon. And he's definitely not going to be launching torpedoes anytime soon. He's still got about another 10 seconds or so before his torpedoes will reload. And I'm gotta get this next shot off him. He's almost dead. He's going to be launching torpedoes any second now. And those were nicely placed. Minakaze at this time had backed off because of all the damage I'd done to him, launched torpedoes, but they're going to swing way wide of me, and now I have a new problem. There is a South Carolina back there who is coming my direction. Now they own 2 circles, there's 6.5 minutes left, and the South Carolina is shooting at me. I don't have much of a choice here. I could run, but with only 6,000 health left, if that South Carolina really wanted to, he could probably finish me off, and I don't have much map left to run to. So my best chance now, in my opinion, is to do, once again, close the enemy battleship. Hopefully he'll miss or do minor damage, and I'll be able to get torpedoes off on him. Maybe slow him down enough, or kill him. But either way, something to help my team out, who's quickly falling behind because they have the points advantage on us now, and we don't have the time to deal with it. So I'm going to line up some guns on the South Carolina. By the way, hats off to the Minakaze and the Isokaze. That was a fun little fight, and it really left me sweaty and white-knuckled from that. That was pretty intense and some of the most fun I've had in the game since I've been in closed beta. Um, that was really fun, and just by pure luck that I've made it through that. South Carolina is trying to get some shots off onto me, but I'm dodging. So now time to close with him. Now I'm going to move my ship a little bit to the right here because I think the Minakaze is over there, but instead he's actually over here to the left. He got around on me. So I'm going to try to get guns on off him, but you'll notice my ship is moving so fast my guns can't keep up, and I miss my opportunity to knock him out of the game. He got torps off on me though, so I'm going to hit the brakes and turn left to dodge them. And I'm going to put another salvo out at the Minakaze, and those are going to fly very beautifully at him. But they're going to leave him with 5 health. 5. I was so angry with myself not having finished him off. 2 more shots just for a guess, and nope, not good enough. But I can't deal with the Minakaze right now. He's going to run from me. There's no way I'm going to catch him. So I have South Carolina to deal with first. And so I'm going to launch some torpedoes off at him. Hopefully the South Carolina will continue his turn around towards the west there, and he's not going to do that though, so I have to get my nose back around on that South Carolina in order to get my next set of torpedoes off. I know that I just have to keep this turn going, because if I do, I'm going to be point blank range with him. He gets some okay shots. 175 health left, and just before I get more torpedoes off on him, he puts a nice barrage into me. What an intense match that was. Starting with the Gremmy, coming out straight to the Tenryu, transitioning straight into a fight with a Wyoming, which transitions straight into a fight with a Minakaze, adding an Isokaze, dancing around their torpedoes, dealing with the Isokaze, dealing with the Minakaze, then having to start dealing with the South Carolina, almost finishing off the Minakaze, and then sadly not quite making it in time to get torps off on the South Carolina. That was a fun match, guys, but it's not quite over yet. We still have 3.5 minutes left. They have 1 ship, we have 3. Our battleships are pretty far behind, and my friend BR Link is the only person from our platoon that is still alive. Spike having died earlier in the match and had been coaching me this entire time, helping me with an extra set of eyes. I value Spike's advice since he's quite a bit better than I am. Let's jump over here to BR Link. BR Link has some torpedoes off on that South Carolina. You're going to see them. They're going to go just a little bit ahead of that South Carolina, but that last torpedo is going to catch them. I find that happens to me a lot in my destroyers, where I'm launching torpedoes and the main body of torpedoes will go ahead or behind the enemy target. But there's always one that's a little bit off from the other torpedoes, and for some reason that's the one that always seems to catch them. So I usually walk away with at least 1 torpedo hit if I get a good barrage off. Unfortunately for my friend BR Link, he's going to get a couple torpedo barrages off at bad timings. He launched that one just as he was turning, and he's going to get another torpedo barrage off here in a second. And it's going to be right at the nose of the South Carolina. You got to be really lucky at that point to get hits on the South Carolina or any ship from the nose. They have to really travel in that straight line, and even then, if they travel right down between the 2 torpedoes, you may not hit them. He's going to do a little bit of a widespread here, try to cover an entire area of ocean, but that's not going to be quite good enough. That South Carolina is going to easily make his way through the barrage. Let's see if I can get some free cam going here. I see the South Carolina's engaging the Kawachi and our other battleship, which I didn't quite catch, the Wyoming. They've been trading some shots here for a little while now, but they're not doing much damage to each other, which is kind of depressing, seeing as we only have 50 seconds left in the match. So they're trading shots, but not very well. I'm getting actually a little worried since that Wyoming just went behind the island. He's not going to come back out in time to help finish off the match. That Kawachi needs to get some good shells off and do some good damage against the South Carolina here. He gets a nice barrage there, sending him down to 278 health, but he doesn't have enough time to finish him off. But BR Link comes to save the day from behind. He gets his guns on target and puts the last shells.